Hey there, I'm Jayma, and over the past few years, I've become very interested in onomatology, the study of names. I've never really liked my name until I researched the meaning of it. My name means paradigm shifter, and I'd like to shift your paradigm by shining a light on onomatology and how it can potentially help you find your purpose, help you communicate better with others, or even both. In each episode, I ask someone 8 basic questions regarding their first name. So sit back, relax, and try to shift your paradigm with this next episode. All right. So, on today's episode, I'm excited to interview this person because I have always thought this name was beautiful and so refined. And I grew up having a friend with this name, and I've wanted to interview it for as long as have started my podcast, which is like a year and a half now. So, welcome to the podcast, Tiffany.
Thank you so much for having me, Jayma. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're a part of it. So, if you can, before we jump into the questions, if you can just give the listeners a little bit of information about yourself, where you're podcasting from, and a little bit of information, either professionally, personally, or any kind of hobbies, whatever you want to share.
Great. So I am podcasting from New York, and I am specifically about in the Westchester County area, City Island area, for those who know. And I am a native New Yorker, born and raised. And I'm an only child, and I have an only child who's this. The images that you see behind me are actually my
Oh,
daughter.
cool.
I
Beautiful.
am, thank you, thank you. I am um, an accomplished award-winning HR executive, and I've won awards for my leadership ability, and I love to connect people. I love for people to have beautiful experiences. And so that does not, that's irrespective of personal or professional. So professionally, when I'm executing on any kind of initiative in the office, at work, or anything, I want it to be a beautiful experience. And of course, personally, I always want my circle to have beautiful experiences. So
Oh, I
hopefully
love
that's
that.
helpful.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Like your name, it's beautiful. So, I love that. All right, well, let's jump into the first question, which is before I approached you about my podcast, did you even know the meaning of your first name or did you look it up?
Yeah, so before you reached out, I did not know the meaning.
Okay.
And, I will be 50 something in a couple of weeks.
You
And
look
so
amazing.
all of this time,
Oh my
I
God.
haven't looked up my name. And so that was just a fun exercise to have me think about my name, which is interesting because, of course, when I was carrying my daughter, it's like what name, although I always knew that what I was going to name her. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I didn't look it up until you reached out to me. So,
Okay.
which was
And what did
super
you
fun.
find? I'm just curious before I tell you.
Yeah, so so I saw that in the Greek is theophonia, and I think it then translated to medieval English times as Tiffany, I think, and then to Tiffany. And I was so pleasantly surprised. I hope I'm not getting ahead of the questions,
No, you're
but
good.
when I saw that it said a manifestation of God
Yeah.
and or appearance of the divine.
Mm.
And I was like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, just even saying that right now, I feel very warm when I say that. And so, um, yeah, that was very um, enlightening and again, very, affirming when I did look
Mm,
that up, and that's
that's
what I
cool.
saw.
I love
Hmm.
it. Yeah, I found something really similar to what you found.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, you're correct. It did originate in Greek
Okay.
and it kind of made its way into Old French.
Oh,
And
okay.
it actually peaked in the US in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
And I found it means manifestation of God or revelation of God. And I
Mm.
kind of like to peel the onion and go a layer deeper. And
Hmm.
so when I look up the word, just the word manifestation, and I looked up what does manifestation symbolize?
Hmm.
So I found that manifestation symbolizes the process of turning thoughts into reality. So it's basically a really strong, sophisticated, and intentional mindset.
Hmm.
And then I looked up the word revelation because it could also mean revelation of God. And revelation symbolizes a divine disclosure or unveiling. And the name is associated with refinement, wealth, and elegance. So with all of that said, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so the process of turning thoughts into reality, that really, really resonates with me because I believe that I have been very successful in my career as a chief HR officer because I was also blessed with gifts of creativity. And by that, have actually been singing on stage since I was 11 years old. And I have done some live background work for some icons. And um, I'm really great at, I also have done some really great events. I designed some really over the top beautiful events. So I am actually able to turn a vision into reality. So that really, really does resonate with me.
Wow.
It's a bit scary.
That's so cool.
And in terms of refinement, I think you said refinement, wealth. Um, I mean, so very transparently, when I was younger, I used to think my middle name was bourgeoisie because people would, you're so bourgeoisie, whatever. Well, they would say bougie, and I would correct them to say the actual term is bourgeoisie. But anyway, um, and so, which is to say, I do appreciate uh, luxury and the finer things in life. I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah.
And wealth, I think we could um, really go a little bit deeper and pick that apart. I think that I have a wealth of beautiful relationships, and
Hmm.
um, and of course, I have been successful, but I'm kind of going a little bit deeper than just finances, right? So that
Yeah.
really does resonate with me.
Yeah. I love that. And I take it you like the meaning.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. And my favorite is breakfast at Tiffany's,
Hmm,
and
I
the
see.
store Tiffany's is obviously like a luxury store, so it kind of
Hmm.
always makes me think of that. So I love that. Very cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, and do you know how your parents chose your first name?
So yes, I did ask. And
Good.
my mother said that we knew that you would be our gem.
Oh,
And so gem, Tiffany's jewelry. So
yeah.
that makes sense. And when I do, when people ask my name and ask for the spelling, because some people do spell it with the I, there are different spellings. I always say, like the store.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is cross cultures, right? And cross that's global. When I say like the store, oh, then okay, yeah, I got it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so they said that I was there. They knew that I would be their gem.
Yeah. Awesome. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Well, and thinking back, growing up as
Mhm.
a young lady, even teenager, young woman, like, have you ever thought, has the thought ever crossed your mind? I wish I had a different name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So I don't have a middle name
Okay.
because I have a long name. My name is long.
Okay.
And I would say as an adult, not as a child, but certainly as an adult, I actually wanted to change my name to Michael.
Really?
And yes,
Okay.
so
Tell me
the
why. Tell
reason,
me more.
yes, so strategically, from a professional perspective, we live in a patriarchy, and I'm like, so if my name is Michael, they'll think it's a man, and then it's the girliest girl you'll ever meet. But
I love it.
I actually wanted to change my name to Michael. My daughter, when she wants to call me by my name, she'll say Michael. Like she'll say, and so she knows I'll answer. And I actually hired someone. I didn't hire her for this reason, but it actually was a plus. Her name
Mhm.
was Michael. And
Love it.
And I was like, I told her the story. She says, no one has ever said that. And she told me that, in fact, when she got older, she's like to her parents, why did you name me that? And then when she interviewed for me, she went back and told her parents, she won't believe my potential new boss wanted to rename herself Michael. So that
Yeah.
was mine.
Wow. Well, you know what? When I was thinking that when you were telling me that story, I mean, you're basically saying and thinking that name carries something with it. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you are named that, the thought manifesting and being intentional about what that could bring, that's kind of
Hmm.
like living out the meaning of your name right
The
there.
manifestation, right? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So if you did have to change your name and you were forced to change your first name, would you change it to Michael or would it be something different?
No, it will be Michael.
Okay. I love it.
It would.
That works. And there's so many names that are used with any gender now.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
I love it. And I wouldn't think that Tiffany would get mispronounced. Has it ever gotten mispronounced?
So when I'm speaking with um, Spanish speaking folks, they
Okay.
typically will say Stephanie.
Okay.
And so, depending upon my mood, I may say Tiffany, like I will, phonetically, but usually, if I'm just okay, I'll just say Stephanie. Yes,
Yeah.
see, I'll just go see, or if I know that they, um, English is their second language, I'll just go ahead and say Stephanie to make it
Okay.
easy for them. Yeah,
Cool. Well, and
and
if you were to, oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, and I was going to say, of course, sometimes people will say Stephanie,
Okay. Yeah,
which
I
is
can see that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and if somebody were to misspell your name and put an I at the end of it, how
Mm-hmm.
does that make you feel?
Well, I don't know who they're talking about because mine is, with the Y, like the store.
Yes. I love it. Love it. Yeah, because it's not your name for
That's
sure.
not my name, or an IE that, when I
Yeah.
was growing up, IE was it seemed to be a common name to spell Tiffany. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, they're not talking to me because mine is with the Y.
Yeah, for sure.
Certainly, um, when you're thinking of naming your children,
Hmm.
I would think that people would take it very seriously and be
Yeah.
very thoughtful about this name and the what it carries and the manifestations of such. And so, yeah, I mean, thank you for reaching out to me about this because I it tells another piece of my story, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I, I love that.
That makes me so happy because that is part of like the major reason why I'm doing this is to help
Hmm.
just kind of shed a light in an area where maybe some people just don't even know to shine the light in, you know?
Hmm.
And so I think that's neat.
Hmm. Hmm.
I am curious, do you have any friends or people in your life that are named Tiffany?
So, recently I've met someone in HR, by the way, and her
Okay.
name is Tiffany. And so we have monthly one-on-one meetings. And mentor. I mentor her, and her name is Tiffany. And it's so funny because, like, when I'm emailing her, hey Tiff, that's Tiff or T, and it's interesting too, right?
Yeah.
Um, but to be honest, oh, when I was growing up in grade school, there was another young lady in my class. Her name was Tiffany as well. She did not spell hers with the Y. I think hers was with the IE. So I
Okay.
think that that's how they differentiated us also, Tiffany with the Y or whatever. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
mm-hmm,
Cool. All right. I have two more questions for you.
hmm
So, second and last one is, and I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but I want to dive more deeper into it, is
Okay.
do you think that the meaning of your name, manifestation of God, has any relevance on the way that you act or the way that you see the world around you? And if so, how?
hmm Absolutely. I am a woman of faith, and I grew up in in the church, very, very involved in the church. And so in my religion, I am a Christian, I am Baptist, and my father is the chairman of the deacon board. And so I grew up in the church, and I'm singing in the choirs and so on and so forth. And so um, manifestation of God, I mean, our family um, uh, tagline, I guess I would say, or a family motto is to whom much is given, much is required. And this has been something that, like, my daughter would, 3 years old, would quite literally say this. And so I do believe that being a good human is important. And I certainly believe that being a kind and uh, altruistic human being, a giving, um, empathetic human being is a manifestation of God. And
Mm,
so when I'm thinking of all the things that I am doing in this world and all the blessings that I've received and all the gifts that God has bestowed upon me and all the things that I we haven't seen or heard from me yet of the gifts of God, those are manifestations of God. So that does really resonate with me. It truly does.
that's great.
Mhm.
I think it's such a powerful meaning for sure. I
It
love
is. It's a very it's that's nothing small. I mean, and the manifestation of God,
it.
that's a really big deal, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And so
Yeah, for sure.
and so again, that's, a lot to strive for, you know.
Yeah.
I used to say, that I was a perfectionist.
Mm,
And then I would always say, but no one's perfect. Only God is perfect, of course, so that theoretically. And
yeah.
then in raising my daughter, I would see the traces of perfection there. And so I think that understanding that, okay, changing that mindset of perfection for me, not perfection of something's going to be, there's certain things that can be totally buttoned up and zipped up and so forth, but there's beauty in, um, there actually beauty in eras and the beauty of saying, um, oh, I made a mistake, I apologize. So the beauty of being accountable and the beauty of um, vocalizing, um, you know, unintentionally hurting someone, or you know what I mean, like, or saying something like being um, accountable. I guess it boils down to accountability, which is something that I focus on as a leader. Um,
Yeah.
again, those are manifestations of God,
Mm,
of what I think, how I think God is, because God loves us in spite of, right? And
yeah.
so, and so, yeah, I don't want to ramble too much, but if, thinking about that, I think that there's so much that can go into manifestation of God. And that
Yeah.
also mean yeah, so yeah, I love that.
Okay. Great. Great answer.
Mhm.
Well, my last question. So, when I started this podcast, I wanted to know what really famous books, if they were saying anything about the significance of names.
Okay.
And so I looked up what is the best-selling book of all time, happens to be the Bible. And
Hmm.
so I researched, and there's actually a lot of people where their names were changed in the Bible. And I was
Hmm.
like, that's so fascinating. And I want to know why. And so
Hmm.
I'm just like, and I'm collecting a spectrum of answers. Your answer can be anything. I'm just wanting to know what your opinion is about what do you think the significance was of God saying to Abram in Genesis, I'm going to change your name from Abram to Abraham, and your wife is no longer going to be Sarai, it's going to be Sarah. So, what do you think the significance of that even being mentioned instead of the Bible just saying, just starting off as Abraham and Sarah? I'm just kind of curious.
Sure. So I think that the it's a lesson for us to say you're not perfect. There is no perfection, and there's always opportunity for um, uh, amendment. There's opportunity for starting over. There's opportunity for rebranding, right? And this is what we do throughout the course of our lives, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
We're we are rebranding. We are, as we evolve, as we grow, as we see new things, learn new things, experience things, we have opportunities to rebrand. Every day is a fresh and a new. And so we have the opportunity to do things all over again. So if you have a day that is not great, if you have, a day that, you made a mistake or whatever that could be, there's always tomorrow. There's always a new day, a new brand. And so while there's so many things that remain the same, we're constantly evolving and growing. And ultimately getting closer to our best selves, which is a manifestation of God, if you will, right? And so I do think it's a lesson to say, there's always a new and always tomorrow.
Hmm. I love that. That's a great perspective. Very cool. Well, those are all my questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Hmm, trying to think. I would love to do this for my daughter.
Yeah, bring her on.
Would you like to know her name?
Yes.
Um, Her name is Amber Summer. And so,
Oh,
yes. And
that's
I was
great.
very intentional
Yeah.
about her
Did
name.
did you look up the meaning or was it how did you decide on that? I'm just curious.
So I've always wanted, as a teenager, I was like, I'm gonna have a girl. I'm gonna have a daughter. Her name is gonna be Amber.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
that's it, right? And so I quite literally, Jayma, do you have children?
I do. I have two kids.
I quite literally felt flutters like butterflies in my belly. I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm pregnant. I told my ex-husband, my husband at the time, I'm
Yeah.
we're pregnant. Well, probably said I'm pregnant. And I went to my doctor and I said, I'm pregnant. She says, let's see. And I'm like, I'm pregnant. And I said, it's going to be a girl. She says, we don't know. And I'm like, I'm telling you, her name is Amber. And so I was quite literally talking to her, Amber, talking to her. And by the way, we just got matching butterfly tattoos. She talked me
Oh.
into this, by the way. She and my goddaughter kind of bullied me into this, but nonetheless. Um, and she's always loved butterflies. But yeah, so Amber Summer, my and Summer was my way of including my last name. So that was a way of me including my family. And so Amber is also a gem. So
Hmm.
when mommy said that to me, I was just like, oh, because
Oh,
Amber
yeah.
is a gem, and amber is warm, so that gem, that stone is very warm. It's very comforting. It's very welcoming,
Mm.
as is she. And then, summer, who doesn't love summer? The summertime and all the
Right.
joy and laughter it brings and, the bringing together our family. So anyway, so I would love to do this for her, but
Yeah.
uh, I think that there's power in your name. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I've always thought that my name was a very common name, actually.
Hmm.
I always thought that it was very common. But then to your point, when you said, well, how many Tiffany's? And I've quite literally named two. So,
Yeah.
other than myself. But anyway, this was just really, really fun because again, it gives you, um, you can think about things and again, it tells another piece of who I am, my story,
Yeah,
and who,
definitely.
yeah, I love it. This was really fun.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're a part of it. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe or follow the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps me continue bringing you meaningful conversations with remarkable guests. Don't forget to tune in next time for more insightful discussions and inspiring stories. Until then, thank you for listening and keep striving to make a positive impact wherever you are. And don't forget to tap into the meaning of your own name to find a deeper sense of confidence in your purpose.